Did you know that our brains are wired to be more influenced by negative experiences than positive ones? Crazy, right? This little nugget of information is just one of the many mind-blowing facts about human behavior that we'll dive into today. We're going to explore some fascinating psychological facts that will totally change the way you think about human behavior. Understanding why we act the way we do can really help improve our relationships and even our day-to-day lives. So, let's jump right in. The power of the first impression. Let's kick things off with something we all experience: first impressions. Did you know that it takes only a fraction of a second to form a first impression of someone? According to research, it takes just 7 seconds for someone to make a judgment about you when they first meet you. This is known as thin slicing, where our brains quickly process information based on visual cues, body language, and even the tone of voice. The influence of social proof. Next, let's talk about social proof, one of the most powerful influences on human behavior. Social proof is the psychological phenomenon where people assume the actions of others in an attempt to reflect correct behavior. Essentially, we're more likely to do something if we see others doing it. This can explain why certain trends catch on, or why you're more likely to choose a busy restaurant over an empty one. The bystander effect. Moving on to a more serious topic, the bystander effect. This is a psychological phenomenon where individuals are less likely to offer help to a victim when other people are present. The more people there are, the less likely it is that any one person will intervene. This happens because of a diffusion of responsibility. Everyone assumes someone else will take action. Remember, in situations where someone needs help, your actions can make all the difference. The halo effect. Let's explore another fascinating psychological phenomenon, the halo effect. This occurs when our overall impression of a person influences how we perceive their specific traits. For instance, if someone is physically attractive, we might also assume they are intelligent, kind, or capable, even without evidence to support these assumptions. Cognitive dissonance. Now, let's talk about cognitive dissonance, a psychological state that occurs when a person holds two or more contradictory beliefs, values, or attitudes. This creates mental discomfort, leading the individual to change one of the beliefs, or their behavior, to reduce the dissonance. The spotlight effect. Have you ever felt like everyone is watching you, noticing every little thing you do? This is known as the spotlight effect, a psychological phenomenon where people overestimate how much others notice or care about their actions, appearance, or mistakes. The placebo effect. Next up is the placebo effect, a fascinating psychological phenomenon where people experience real improvements in their health or well-being after receiving a treatment that has no therapeutic effect. The power of belief is so strong that even a sugar pill can lead to significant changes in symptoms, simply because the person believes it will work. The anchoring bias. Let's dive into the anchoring bias, a cognitive bias that describes our tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive, the anchor, when making decisions. This can happen in various situations, from negotiating prices to forming opinions. The Pygmalion effect. Now, let's talk about the Pygmalion effect, a psychological phenomenon where higher expectations lead to an increase in performance. This effect was named after the Greek myth of Pygmalion, who created a statue that was brought to life because of his belief in its perfection. The pratfall effect. Next, we have the pratfall effect, a psychological phenomenon where people become more likable when they make a mistake, but only if they're generally competent. This effect was demonstrated in a study where participants rated a person more positively after witnessing them spill coffee, as long as the person was perceived as capable. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Finally, let's discuss the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias where people with low ability, knowledge, or experience in a specific area overestimate their competence, while experts tend to underestimate their abilities. This phenomenon can lead to overconfidence in those who are less skilled and self-doubt in those who are highly knowledgeable. Recognizing these patterns can really change how we interact and connect in our everyday lives. So, which of these facts surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below.